Everybody has an ego, and it is your greatest enemy. Yet some people seem to thrive with a certain humbleness, and others get absorbed in self-loathing. The question is, what divides the ego-absorbed from the humble? Ryan Holiday answered this question in his book, Ego is the Enemy. And today we're going to take a look at 3 ways in which Ryan warned us against that ego is destroying our lives in. Anyone can talk about him or herself. There are only a few people confident enough to stay silent. Or as Ryan Holiday put it, silence is the respite of the confident and the strong. Now, talk can destroy your life in 2 ways. The first way is by talking to yourself, and the second way is by talking to others. Now you may wonder, how can talk destroy your life if you only talk to yourself? Well, it's quite simple. Talk destroys your life by creating delusions that you put in your own head. For example, if you make a plan for doing something and you work out this plan real good and you keep on going and building this plan, you actually think that you actually did something, but you didn't. You only made a plan, and that's what talk creates. It's delusions about how far you have gone since starting. Talk can also ruin your life by talking to others. And what I mean by this is, of course, not talking to others in general. That's, of course, good for you, it's fun, and you should do it. But talking about your ambitions before you've done something or put some work in can be disastrous for the whole project altogether. Because if you're going to talk about your plans, you're going to create plans and you're going to expand on plans that you don't even have. And also, if you explain too much about a plan, either others could use it, or if you don't do anything about your ambition or plan that you told them about, you are going to come across as if you don't achieve what you set out to do. In short, talking a talk is easier and different from walking the walk. And what you should do is actually try to do stuff instead of just talking or thinking about it. Now, what you will come to find if you actually do stuff is that there's a whole lot possible. But you have to really focus on it and only talk about it when you have achieved something. Though respect is generally a good thing, when led by ego, it can be disastrous for your life. This is because when respect is led by ego, you start to think of yourself as worth more than other people. This is utter nonsense. Everybody should be respected the same, but everybody can choose to respect you or not. Usually, people respect you through a track record that you've built. So, if you want other people's respect, you should try to do the work and be on time and just be a respectable person. I know that sounds a bit fake, but I think you know what I mean. Also, you shouldn't always want to be on the biggest pedestal, though ego makes us believe we do. And I'm going to explain very shortly why you shouldn't always want to be on the biggest pedestal. And it basically is because if you're working, for example, for somebody higher up than you, you should give them the credits. This gives you the respect of somebody above you, which is very, very useful for your career or for whatever you're doing, because it helps you forward instead of fighting for a senseless form of self-worth, which you feel like you have to protect. To counter your ego in respect, you should basically just give others respect and don't think of yourself as worth more than others. Now, I know you can't really exercise this, but try to remember this when it feels like somebody is stepping on your toes. Because as Ryan Holiday said, those who have subdued their ego understand that it doesn't degrade you when somebody treats you poorly, it degrades them. Greed is like the ego-led cousin of ambition. It is wanting more just for the sake of wanting, whilst ambition is wanting for the sake of a dream. Also, greed is not wanting to compromise. It's not wanting to share with others because you have earned it. You have earned it more than others, or at least that's what ego is going to tell you. Greed can also lead to one of the greatest delusions, entitlement. Entitlement is basically valuing yourself as worth more than others. But Ryan Holiday put it like this. Entitlement assumes this is mine, I've earned it. At the same time, entitlement nickels and dimes other people because it can't conceive of valuing another person's time as highly as its own. To counter greed is actually quite simple. You've got to know what you're after and stay on that mission. Don't get distracted by other people telling you should want other things. Also, you have to regularly remember yourself of your limits in power and reach. This way you keep yourself grounded to the world instead of thinking that you're some kind of god or something like that. I hope you now understand how big of an impact ego can have on your life, and that this enormous impact it has can be countered by trying to stay humble and keeping yourself in check. But I want us to leave this video with a brilliant quote of Cyril Connolly, and it is, "Ego sucks us down like the law of gravity."